Every single time you stand up, something happens. A head lifts from a dog bed. 4 paws find the floor. And before you have taken 3 steps, you have company. To the kitchen, to the laundry room, down the hallway, through the door that you specifically tried to close. Your dog is there. People tend to laugh about this, or sigh, or wonder vaguely whether it is normal, or sweet, or perhaps a little too much. What almost no one does is ask what is actually driving this behavior at the level of biology and attachment science, because the answer, once you understand it, is not about clinginess at all. Welcome to Hidden Paw Signals. Subscribe now if you want to understand what your dog is actually communicating through the behaviors that most people dismiss as quirks. Today we are looking at one of the most universal and misunderstood dog behaviors there is, the following: why they do it, what it means at the level of attachment and brain chemistry, when it is something to celebrate, and the one circumstance where it warrants a closer look. To understand why dogs follow, you need to understand what the domestication process did to the social architecture of the dog brain. Wolves, from which dogs descend, are cooperative pack animals, but their following behavior is organized around rank and survival. They follow because of social hierarchy and shared hunting goals. Dogs are something categorically different. Through thousands of years of living alongside humans, a unique form of attachment evolved that has no direct parallel in the wolf. Researchers at Eötvös Marand University in Budapest, led by Adam Miklosi and Josef Topal, documented that domestic dogs relate to their human caregivers in a way that closely mirrors how human infants relate to their parents, through a mechanism called the secure base effect. The secure base effect, first described in human developmental psychology by John Bowlby, describes the tendency of an attached individual to use their attachment figure as a home base from which to explore the world. Human infants will play boldly and investigate far when a trusted parent is present, and will contract into distress and cessation of exploration when that person leaves. Topal and colleagues demonstrated that domestic dogs show this exact pattern with their primary human caregiver. They explore more freely, engage more confidently with novel environments, and recover more quickly from stress when their person is present. Your dog follows you in part because you are their secure base, and moving away from a secure base is something attachment biology resists. Oxytocin plays a central role in this. Often described as the bonding hormone, oxytocin is released in both humans and dogs during eye contact, physical touch, play, and proximity. Research by Miho Nagasawa and colleagues at Azab University in Japan demonstrated that mutual gaze between dogs and their owners triggers a significant oxytocin release in both species, creating a reinforcing biological loop of attachment. Following you around the house is, in part, a proximity-seeking behavior driven by this same system. Being near you produces a neurochemical reward. Distance from you removes it. The following is not irrational. It is the output of a reward system that has been shaped over thousands of years of coevolution. The bathroom situation is worth addressing specifically because it generates so much confusion and amusement. From a behavioral standpoint, the bathroom is not a special case. Your dog does not understand that a closed door signifies a social boundary. Wolves and wild canines do not have a behavioral category for private space. In the social structure your dog operates from, a suddenly closed door simply means that you, their secure base, has become inaccessible for no apparent reason. the scratching, the pawing, the sitting out with visible distress, these are not manipulation. They are the genuine response of an animal whose attachment system registered an unexpected separation. There is also a scent component that is rarely discussed in relation to following behavior. Dogs gather enormous amounts of social information through scent, and a person who is moving through a space is releasing fresh scent data with every step. Your dog is not just following your body, they are following an information trail, reading your hormonal state through your sweat, gathering data about your mood, your health, your stress level, and your recent activities with every room you pass through. From the dog's perspective, following you around the house is not redundant. It is a continuous information-gathering exercise about the most important individual in their social world. Most dogs that follow their owners throughout the home are simply demonstrating healthy, secure attachment. The following itself is not a problem. What researchers and veterinary behaviorists distinguish is the difference between the dog who follows and then settles comfortably once you are still, versus the dog who cannot tolerate even brief visual separation without escalated distress. This brings up an important note. Everything in this video is general education, not veterinary advice. If your dog's following behavior is accompanied by destructive behavior when you leave, excessive vocalization, inability to relax even when you are home, or visible anxiety during normal daily transitions, please consult a qualified veterinary behaviorist or your local veterinarian. These can be signs of a clinical separation anxiety disorder that responds very well to professional intervention. Interestingly, the dogs most likely to follow are often the dogs with the strongest bonds, not the most anxious ones. Research consistently shows that dogs who are securely attached follow more in novel or uncertain environments and follow less in familiar, comfortable settings where they feel entirely safe.
The following scales with how much your presence is needed in a given moment. This is behaviorally identical to what we observe in securely attached children. They stay close when the environment feels uncertain and explore more confidently when they feel settled. Your dog following you from room to room is not a sign of a dog that cannot cope. It is often a sign of a dog that is coping, precisely by keeping its secure base within range. What this also reveals is the extraordinary degree to which dogs have adapted to human social patterns. Unlike any other domesticated species, dogs read human social cues with a sophistication that appears to exceed even their closest primate relatives in some tasks. They follow pointing gestures, interpret eye direction, and respond to subtle shifts in body language with a sensitivity that reflects thousands of years of selection pressure, favoring dogs that could monitor and respond to their human companions. Following you is not a side effect of this attunement. It is one of its primary expressions. There is also an age dimension to following behavior that is worth understanding. Puppies follow instinctively as part of the imprinting-like attachment process of early life. Adult dogs in stable environments often develop a rhythm of following that is more selective and situational. Senior dogs may increase their following behavior again as their world contracts and their dependence on familiar anchors grows. An older dog who begins following more closely than they once did is not becoming demanding. They are, in many cases, drawing closer to what has always been their most reliable source of safety, as other sources of certainty diminish. The relationship that produces consistent following behavior is, from an attachment science standpoint, one of the healthier relationship configurations between a dog and a human. It reflects recognition on the dog's part that this specific person is worth staying near. Not every person earns that designation. Dogs observe, evaluate, and assign attachment selectively. They follow the person whose patterns they have learned, whose emotional register they have memorized, and whose presence their nervous system has come to associate with safety and reward. Being the person your dog follows everywhere is not a small thing. It is the outcome of everything you have done to earn that role. It is also worth noting that following behavior intensifies during specific circumstances in ways that tell you something about your dog's state of mind. Before thunderstorms, some dogs begin following hours before the weather changes, tracking barometric pressure drops through scent and other sensory channels. During illness, a dog will often follow their person more closely, drawing on proximity for regulation. After a change in household routine, following tends to increase temporarily as the dog uses the attachment relationship to recalibrate. In these moments, the following is not behavioral regression. It is evidence of an intelligent animal using its best available resource to manage a situation it cannot otherwise control. What should you do about the following? For most dogs with healthy attachment, the honest answer is nothing. Let them follow. Appreciate that a creature who had no obligation to choose you has chosen you as the organizing center of their world. Where people sometimes go wrong is in inadvertently reinforcing anxious following by responding with excessive reassurance and attention every time the dog appears. If your dog is calm when they follow, meet them with calm. If your dog is distressed, work with a professional on building tolerance for independence gradually. The goal is a dog that follows because it wants to, not a dog that follows because it cannot bear not to. As always, this content is for educational purposes only and does not replace professional veterinary or behavioral guidance. If you have concerns about your dog's following behavior or suspect separation anxiety, please speak directly with your veterinarian or a certified applied animal behaviorist. They can give you an assessment based on your specific dog, which no general video can provide. If this gave you a new way to think about that shadow that follows you from room to room, share it with someone who has ever found their dog sitting outside a closed bathroom door. Leave a comment below. Does your dog follow you everywhere? Is there one room they refuse to miss? I read every single one. And if you are not subscribed yet, hit subscribe now so you do not miss what comes next on Hidden Paw Signals. The voice and visuals in this video were created using artificial intelligence. Thank you for watching Hidden Paw Signals. Something worth reflecting on as we close. The following behavior your dog shows is one of the clearest daily demonstrations of how thoroughly you have become part of their neurological world. They are not following out of boredom. They are not following because they have no other option. In multi-dog households, dogs still follow specific people more than others. The following is selective, and the selectivity is the message. You are the person their social brain chose to organize itself around. And every time those four paws lift to follow you through another doorway, they are simply acting on a decision that runs deeper than habit.